Strong, independent women gather to form a group specializing in helping the weak and performing comedy. Specializing in helping the weak and performing comedy, but no one expected their true identity. Typically, the girl doing the cupping looks very normal. Seeing a group harassing a weak girl, one woman takes action. He immediately took action and ordered the group of people to lie down on the ground. Fast body movements combined with top punching techniques. In the end, this lady is a noble person. A few days ago, a Korean agent was pretending to be a buyer. Due to the transaction with the Chinese guys, the cargo is a chip hidden in the fish's belly. The cargo is a chip hidden in the fish's belly. This chip is a technology product about to be launched on the market. As soon as the Chinese people turned away, the agents silently pulled out their guns to capture the criminals. Intending to capture the entire gang of criminals, but unexpectedly, the fish barrel contained a bomb. As soon as the agents opened fire, the Chinese merchant immediately activated the bomb. An emergency meeting unfolds in the intelligence department, a response to the recent explosion, heightening the tension. He brought important intelligence information back to the intelligence department. Captain Dong reveals the shocking truth. Michael, the leader of the chip traffickers, is a notorious criminal, whom international agents have been trying to capture for a long time. However, there's a catch. Michael's true identity remains a tantalizing mystery, even after years of pursuit. And Michael's true identity is still a mystery. Captain Dong senses an impending threat as Michael targets the technology of a high-tech corporation in Korea. At the same time, there is someone inside secretly draining my strength. In a bold move, Captain Dong plans to form a team of super agents, ready to infiltrate the high-tech world. Secretly infiltrate high-tech, but who will dare to volunteer for such a perilous mission? A leader steps forward, ready to take on the challenge. A leader stood up to make suggestions. She suggests potential teammates, showcasing her leadership and determination to tackle the threat. The negotiation expert has 24 years of experience in the Internal Security Department. First up is Huang Mei, a negotiation expert with years of experience, perfect for this high-stakes mission. MI felt more classy when she opened her own company. Next is a tech expert, ready to infiltrate and monitor the high-tech systems, crucial for their operation. Bai is a white agent without much real combat experience. As the team begins to take shape, the stakes are higher than ever. Can they uncover Michael's secrets? She will be in charge of infiltrating the high-tech system. Finally, we meet the craziest agent in the game, Baek-chan Mei, a force to be reckoned with. The best and craziest agent Baek-chan Mi. But she didn't stop there. She boldly chose prison to find a new thrill in life. Unexpectedly, she encountered a daring group that challenged her skills. And just like that, she conquered them with her unique style. But not everyone is thrilled with her presence. Enter Captain Dong. Captain Dong feels the pressure mounting as he takes on the leadership of these fierce ladies. His concerns about controlling Baek-chan Mi are palpable. However, the higher-ups give him no choice. He must lead this unpredictable team, because he was afraid that he would not be able to control Chan Mi. With a notorious criminal on the loose, the stakes couldn't be higher. He's not just battling criminals, he's fighting against chaos itself. Now, it's time to discuss the mission details. The first thing Suk-chan did was introduce insurance to his new partner, but the new partners aren't interested in the insurance details at first. Their attitudes shift dramatically when Captain Dong reveals their financial burdens. He pulls out the bank debt notice, and suddenly, everything changes. With debts looming, the stakes have never been higher for them. If they don't act now, they risk losing it all. What will happen when desperation drives their decisions? Facing overwhelming debts, Sok-chan and ZL make a life-altering decision to join the mission. In prison, Chan Nam uncovers a crucial clue, igniting hope in her quest. Chan Nam is entrusted with a new task, to hunt down the notorious international criminal, Michael. During an unexpected handover, Chan Nam reunites with familiar faces in the intelligence agency. Chan and Mai pay tribute at the memorial, honoring agents who sacrificed their lives in the line of duty. At that time, the intelligence department had information that Michael appeared in Korea, so they sent agents to arrest this guy. The team includes Suk-chan Mi and her husband Jae-yun. Suk-chan is tasked with breaking into the Kamesa system monitoring the area. Searching for Michael's location when she discovered the subject, she reported it to Chan Mi and her husband Jae-yun. Right at that moment, her husband was near Michael's position, so he immediately chased after him, but unexpectedly Michael attacked him. Suk-chan quickly told Chan Mi to go to the market hospital. and at this time Chan Mi was on the flying tower. She did not hesitate to jump from the tower to chase the target. Seeing Michael take the motorbike and run away, Chan Mi stole a taxi to give chase. After a tense chase, Chan Mi was lured by Michael to an abandoned construction site. Carelessly holding the gun to go inside to check, suddenly someone rushed out to block Chan Mi. It turned out that Zul's husband also chased her here while the two of them were moving in different directions. Michael took the opportunity to sneak a shot. Zul's husband blocked Chan Mi with a bullet through the heart. Michael was discovered and immediately ran away. Chan Mi ignored her seriously injured teammate and chased after Michael because she was afraid he would escape. When Michael was about to escape over the fence, Chan Mi chased after him and shot him, determined to avenge her teammate still inside. But just as the director appeared to stop her, he was afraid that Chan Mi would lose control and shoot at the people standing nearby. Michael was slightly injured, so he was still able to escape. Chan Mi could only kneel down helplessly because he couldn't avenge his teammates. On this side, Zol's husband is still lying peacefully. He received a text message from his wife. Today is the day she gave birth to her first daughter. Zol's husband can only send a text message saying he loves you and the child and then closes his eyes. Zol was extremely happy when she read the message, but she did not know that she would have to be a single mother for the rest of her life. A moment later, Chan ran to the abandoned construction site, saw his teammates lying there, and quickly called an ambulance. But when Jun's husband was taken to the hospital, despite the doctor's best efforts, he still could not survive. If only he had been taken to the hospital a little sooner. Looking at the corpse of his teammate, Chan Mi could only cry with regret. Returning to reality, Chan Mi swore to her teammates in tears. This time, she was determined to catch Michael's name for him. Early in the morning, 3 girls got out of a car. Each person has a different style, and inside the car is a secret base, controlled by his captain. A group of female agents came to interview to join High-Tech Corporation, in order to infiltrate the corporation and find out who was colluding with Michael from the inside. Thanks to the fake identity that Captain Dong prepared, plus the ability to deceive about his own qualifications, all 3 ladies were successfully accepted into High-Tech. Then the super agent group held a meeting. Team leader Dong points out the subjects that need to be monitored. The first is Director Jun of High-Tech Group, who is likely to become chairman of the board of directors in the near future. The person who is easiest to access and take away High-Tech's technology. The second person is Deputy Director Meng. This is an object that needs special attention, because Deputy Director Meng is an extremely sinister person. Furthermore, the old man's subordinate is Trung Fong Tak, who is also hiding his identity. The last character is Artist Kang, a cool mirror representative of High-Tech. Although he is the least dangerous person, he still needs to be watched carefully. Because Artist Kang has a lot of complicated foreign relationships, he could be the one to bring High-Tech's technology abroad. Tomorrow will be the first day the Super Agent Group comes to work at the company, and is also the day they will take action. On the other hand, Trung Fong TAC is doing business with a Chinese guy, thinking everything will go smoothly. Unexpectedly, the Chinese guy was waiting, daring to use a gun to threaten Trung Fong TAC and then get his money back. He thought this time he would get a big return without losing capital, but Trung Fong TAC ordered a female guard next to him. Dealing with all the Chinese people, the female French guard was extremely agile and fought alone with the whole group of Chinese people. Then defeating all of them, Trung Fong slowly took back the suitcase of money that belonged to him. Before going to hand to tease Chinese people, Korean people are not ignorant of Kung Fu. Today is the first day the old group of agents came to the company to accept work. Because Goat Yuan does not have much experience in actual combat, her hands and feet suddenly fall. Even the walkie-talkie, she is also the lord of destroying printers. Princess Thao Mai, Mrs. Hoang, the boss, the expert in making coffee by phone. In general, nothing really matters. The noodle shoveling side was even darker. After just entering the scanning department for just one session, the security guard recognized him as a spy. Last time she told me to go home, the team leader called to come back, but it didn't happen right away, and the team leader's part wasn't much better. In addition to supervising the group of super agents, Mr. Kim also plays the role of nanny, picking up his daughter to help soon, babysitting and changing diapers right on the team's base vehicle. It's okay to still have Super Agent Chan Mi doing the job. On her first day at work, she was promoted straight to the position of Secretary of Director Jun, and was envied by other employees in the company. Telling Chan Mi to come here because of a relationship, she got mad and tried to bury each of them one by one. Fortunately, Suk Chan was able to come and carry Chan Mi away, but people did not blame Chan Mi. She was recruited directly to the position of Director Jun's secretary, because he felt that Chan Mi was very similar to his toothless first love. At this time, Zoon was sent by his superiors to artist Kang to convince him to continue extending his contract with the company. Zoon didn't know what to do, so he called to ask negotiation expert Suk-chan for help. From her senior's advice, Zol prepared a few items to please artist Kang. Suddenly he lifted up the blanket and sang loudly, making Zol startled. As a result, people were able to see artist Kang's cuckoo bird behind the scenes of the photo shoot. He was humiliated by a fan, so he became extremely angry with Zol, asking who she was and why she came here. Zol identified himself as a member of High-Tech Group and came here to ask artist Kang to continue being the company's brand representative. Unexpectedly, he suppressed his anger and agreed, with the condition of increasing the contract fee 4 times. Zul realized that he had caused a big problem again. In the evening, Captain Dong was called by the director to punish him, because after a day of work, the group of super agents, in addition to causing chaos, did not receive any information from the High-Tech Corporation. The director forced team leader Dong to urge everyone to work more effectively, otherwise the whole group would be disbanded. The next morning, Captain Dong carefully assigned 3 female agents to quickly complete the mission. Chan Mi will break the lock on Director Jun's room door, then break in and report to Zol, so she can help Chan Mi access the computer, then transfer all the data to the USB. Suddenly, team leader Dong discovered that Director Jun was on his way to the office. The It guy quickly controlled the building system, stopping Director Jun's elevator for a moment, trying to give Chan Mi a little time, but she still didn't have time to leave the room before Director Jun arrived. Chan secretly hid in the secret room behind the cupboard, unfortunately making a noise. Director Jun noticed and went to check, but he couldn't pull the cabinet out, because Chan was using all his strength to hold it back. Director Jun pushed even harder. On the other hand, Zux-chan broke into the research room to install a hidden camera to monitor every move of the guy wearing glasses. He was the head of High-Tech's technology department, holding a lot of the company's project data. At that moment, the guy wearing glasses walked in. Suk-trang carelessly dropped his name tag. The guy wearing glasses immediately noticed. Suk-trang quickly climbed up the ventilation duct. The guy wearing glasses came in and there was no one. He thought he had just misheard, so he leisurely sat at his desk. Suk-trang carefully followed the ventilation pipe, looking for a hole to crawl out of. Unexpectedly, the building's ventilation system was like a maze. Suk-trang unfortunately got lost. The black chaser got his butt stuck, the walkie-talkie fell off, and Suk-trang couldn't call his teammates to save him. I had to lie still and pray to God. On this side, Director Jun was still cooing with Chan Mi. When someone came, he stopped. This person informed Director Jun about something, then took him out, but Chan Mi also ran away when she had the chance. Unfortunately, I dropped the USB there, so it was time to go to the bathroom to report the situation. She just discovered that Chan Mi had to pretend to deliver the coffee and went back to Director Jun's room to pick up the USB. Just when Director Jun returned, Chan Mi carefully crawled out, but was still discovered by him. Chan Mi recognized Director Jun, but pretended not to know him. He didn't recognize her, only knew Chan Mi was his new secretary. Director Jun invited her to sit down and drink tea. After looking at Chan Mi's background, Director Jun did not feel anything unusual, but she was wandering around her office. He had to face it first. It was best for Chan Mi not to do anything that would be detrimental to the company. Otherwise, she will not be at peace. Then Director Jun let Chan Mi go. She brought the USB and gave it to his captain. He brought it back to the base vehicle and asked the It guy to inform everyone that today's mission was completed. Everyone was able to return to their work positions. Only then did the It guy discover that Suk-tran's walkie-talkie had lost contact. Captain Dong had to tell everyone to look for her. Xe Yuan relied on the place where the radio lost contact. Finding out Suk-tran's location, she thought Suk-tran was stuck in the ventilation duct. Xe Yuan reported it to his captain. Thanks to the It guy, he immediately caused a slight disadvantage to the building's security system, allowing Chan Mi and Xe Yuan to pretend to be repairmen and break inside. After going through the security door, the two of them went to the ventilation department. Zol would go into the pipe to find rice noodles. She would tell the rice noodles to stay on guard. By 6 o'clock, if they still hadn't come out, press the red button on the control panel, and at 6 o'clock the system started to simulate smoke. You must press the red button to start through the wind to blow away the smoke. Otherwise Zol and chlorine in the pipe will suffocate. Zol then crawled into the ventilation duct and searched for a while until she found the place where the animal was stuck. Yun grabbed Suk-chan's legs and pulled him out. Unfortunately, Suk-chan's vinegar hit was too loud, causing Yun to suffocate for a bit. The guy wearing glasses below heard a noise and thought there was a mouse in the ventilation duct. He called the pesticide sprayer. The rat's blessing was pumped into the ventilation duct. Jae-Yuen and Suk-chan began to feel uncomfortable, but still tried to continue to find a way to live. On this side, Chan Mi looked for the control panel, waited for 6 o'clock to turn it on, but unexpectedly the control panel was all red. Chan Mi had to press the button a few times. Trung's alarm sounded, attracting the guard's attention. He realized something was wrong. Rushing out to check, Chan Mi immediately chased after the security guard, but he still refused to stop. She had no choice but to throw her high heels, a precise blow straight to the guard's head. At that moment, Zoon and Suk-chan crawled out of the ventilation duct. As soon as they saw the security guard rolling on the ground, Chan Mi ran to buy time, giving her 2 teammates a chance to escape. The plan to rescue Suk-chan was successful. The IT guy got the building system working normally again. In the evening, Captain Dong called everyone to summarize today's mission. He assigned each person a signal transmitter. If someone is in a dangerous situation like Suk-chan, press it to ask for help. The captain let Suk-chan and Chan Mi go first. He wanted to talk privately with Zol. Captain Dong gave Zol press it to ask for help. The captain let Suk-chan and Chan Mi go first. He wanted to talk privately with Zol. Captain Dong gave Zol a chip that Chan Mi found in the zone director's computer. The captain suspects that someone secretly stole High-Tech's data, so he wants to ask Zol to analyze the chip. On the other side, the guy wearing glasses came to meet Trung Fong tax examiner and gave her a chip. After the guy wearing glasses left, the female examiner put the chip in a branded watch. She called someone, saying the goods were about to arrive. The more the artist's manager received a call. He was the delivery person. The female examiner showed the manager where she stored the goods, then told him to go there to pick up the goods. After that, the manager used the location to go to a train station. In his personal locker, he took the watch containing the chip left by the examiner, but the manager did not know he was being followed. On the third day, the group of super agents came to High-Tech Corporation to work. Zol was scolded by his superiors because the contract with the artist increased the price 4 times. The superiors forced Zol to find the artist himself and negotiate more. If not, I'll be nice to you. Chan Mi here is much happier than Zoon. Director Jun just met her and asked her to go out to eat together. While the two were happily eating, they were suddenly interrupted by a troublemaker who just saw the department head working. Chan Mi immediately noticed the scarf around his neck, very similar to Michael's scarf, which she saw 3 years ago. Chan Mi immediately texted Suk-chan, telling her to break into the head of the investigation department. On the other side, a female investigator came to some scammers. She asked them to investigate a person's information. The guy held a knife and threatened, wanting the female examiner to hand over the money first, and she also agreed to open the bag. But the female examiner pulled out not money but a business card, using it like a knife to stick straight into the crook's leg. The remaining guys saw this and tried to attack, but were defeated by a single attack. The female examiner took the things from the guy's place and threw some money back. The group battle just now was just a warning because they started the fight first. The female examiner opened the bag and looked at it, then reported the news to Trung Fong. Chan Mi's identity as an agent was revealed. At this time, Suk-chan came to meet Chan Mi. She found a piece of paper at Trung Fong's place with the time and location written inside. At 8:30 a.m. on the 15th at the Jet Purple pub, a few days had passed. Suk-chan wondered why he was investigating Trung Fong. Chan Mi also expressed her suspicions. Perhaps Trung Fong is actually Michael. To confirm this, the two invited each other to Jet Purple tonight to look for clues and see who Trung Fong had met there. On the other hand, the manager returned to artist Kang's house to prepare things for the upcoming tour in Taipei. He brought the watch that the female examiner gave him here. The manager is also not a simple person. He knew for sure that the female examiner still had a GPS on her watch, so when artist Kang wasn't paying attention, the manager took out the chip, then blew up artist Kang's watch, put the chip back inside and take it away. When artist Kang turned around, the manager somehow ran away. He didn't know anything, but he was wearing a watch that had porridge on his hand. Then, artist Kang saw Ziyun in front of his house. Through forced supervision, she came here on orders from her superiors to negotiate a contract with artist Kang. Unexpectedly, he agreed unconditionally. It turned out that artist Kang thought that Ziyun took pictures of him naked, so she wanted her to forgive it. But when looking at Ziyun's phone, artist Kang couldn't find the photo. Because Jae-Yuen has not been expelled, he is no longer afraid of anything. He will directly sign the contract. Jae-Yuen had no choice but to return sadly. In the evening, he went to the ZPB pub to investigate and see if he had ever met anyone here. Unfortunately, the cattle were kept by the security guard. She was a bit fake, so she was not allowed in. Suk Tran had to find a way to go through the back door. She told the security guard that the chef had just arrived, but with her current outfit, how could the security guard believe it? Suk Tran had to use the sole of her shoe to stop him. Now who can stop her? After entering, Suk Tran pretended to be a chef, showing off his skillful communication skills, making the people here unsuspecting, so that he could easily sneak out and get to the building system control panel. Ban USBs containing viruses, helping it guys take control. On the other hand, Zun was assigned to monitor artist Kang's house. Without entering the surveillance system, Than Thoi sat in a corner and peeked at every corner of the house. Suddenly, Zun discovered that a man in black broke in, worried that artist Kang would be in danger. Vo ran to warn him, but the man in black still grabbed artist Kang and threw him into the car. Yun found the car, but was accidentally electrocuted by the man in black, who turned out to be a female driver. She reported the news to the school office. He told the driver to take Yun with him in the car, and the artist regained consciousness, knowing he was in danger. Yun pressed the phone to signal for help. Captain Dong received the signal and contacted Chan Mi and Suk Chan, but no one listened. At this time, the security guard discovered his teammate hidden in the field. Han realized there was an intruder. The announcement was made to others, and the security guards immediately searched everywhere. Suchan cut off a group of people quite simply, then swung on a pole to escape the building, but she was a bit overweight. The pillar could not be held steady. Suchan fell from above, and only after hitting the guard's head did he regain consciousness. She was lucky not to have broken any bones, but the youngest guard had his face covered in terrible shock and fainted again. Zux-chan reluctantly left, while Chan Mi had to wrestle with a group of other guards. Although she was able to take down a few men, the more and more guards came, forcing Chan Mi to run away. The security guard activated the rolling door to block Chan Mi's way. She quickly grabbed the fire extinguisher. Throwing a sharp blow to the door, Chan Mi flew through the narrow opening, then conveniently kicked the fire extinguisher out. The rolling door slammed shut. The guards could only stand and watch. Chan Mi quickly ran to the base vehicle. The guards still had time to chase. Captain Dong immediately drove away and ignored them when everyone was safe. Chan Mi took out a USB, stolen from the surveillance room at the bar. Inside there was a video recording at 8:30 a.m. on the 15th. Chi Fong is talking to the manager, asking him to take the watch containing the chip abroad. During Artist Kang's upcoming tour, they didn't expect the new manager to be a henchman from a school. Suddenly, someone called Captain Dong. When they looked up, they saw the it guy walking with a shipper. It turned out that Captain Dong forgot his subordinate at the bar. Just now, the it guy had a stomach ache and had to go to the bathroom. When he turned back, he saw that the base vehicle was gone. He had to use his identity as an agent and ask a shipper to chase after the captains. Now Suk Tran opened the base car door, intending to pull YT and like in Agent 7. Unexpectedly, he was too heavy. Suk Tran whispered and got into the passenger car. Luckily, YT was able to let go. Later, he successfully got into the car. At this time, Goon and Artist Kang were taken to a repair shop, and a group of children were assigned to them. The female examiner walked up to Artist Kang. He looked at her with puzzled eyes. The female examiner took the watch from Artist Kang's hand, and he said it was an expensive item. It turned out that the female judge thought Artist Kang was the manager, so he arrested her. After the manager took the watch from the security guard, he did not follow through with the appointment with Trung Fong Ta and even dared to cut off contact. So Trung Fong sent a female detective to arrest him and punish him. Unexpectedly, they were caught by mistake. Outside the factory, a group of super agents came to rescue Zun. The team leader gave the it guy a gun to defend himself. Then along with the two girls, Chan Mi and Suk Chan carefully took the gun in first. Suddenly Suk Chan's phone rang, accidentally revealing the location to the school, causing him to notice and run away. It's too bad to be a spy like this. After turning off the phone, the two female agents leisurely walked in, without fear of their father or son, seeing that the artist had his head smashed in by the female detective, and the goat was kicked down. Both of them often declared, "Today you guys are done." The two of you rushed into battle with the thugs. With the skills of professional agents, the thugs were nothing to them. The two knocked each of them down, then held hands and coordinated to take them all down. The last guy was caught by Chan Mi with a rope. The female examiner saw that the situation was not good and ran away first, but bumped into the team leader. He held a gun and forced her to surrender. The female examiner was not that easy. She immediately knocked the gun out of the captain's hand, then immediately took it away, and he raised his hands to surrender. But the female lightning striker still coldly opened fire. Captain Dong collapsed. Everyone was extremely worried when they heard the movement. The group of super agents ran to the source of the gunshots and saw that Captain Dong was seriously injured. Chan Mi handed him over to everyone. Vo wanted to chase after the female lightning striker, contacted Chan, and Jun saw that Chan Mi couldn't keep calm, so he ran after to keep watch. Only the it guy stayed to take care of team leader Dong. He saw the female lightning attacker get into the car and escape. Chan Mi stole Mr. Shipper's car and chased after him. She was determined not to forgive the female examiner, but followed her for a long way. Chan Mi couldn't do anything. Suddenly a car rushed up to block the road. It turned out to be a blanket and rushed to chase to the first match. Chan Mi and the female examiner lightly slid past the base vehicle, and Chan Mi's motorbike slid along the road. But using her training technique, she stood up on the car that was gliding by inertia, pulled out her gun and aimed precisely at the female examiner's tire. Chan Mi shot and blew up the car, causing it to lose control and flip over. The female examiner also became dizzy. Chan Mi was thrown out. Her head hit the taxi on the way. Fortunately, a helmet saved her life. Chan Mi immediately jumped up and ran to the female examiner, using her hand to lock her arm. The two teammates saw that Chan Mi was okay and were happy, but they still had to take her to the hospital for a checkup. Chan Mi didn't want to lie here. She wanted to visit Captain Dong. However, he came to visit first. Captain Dong only had a wound, but he acted like he was about to fall asleep. There was nothing serious. The group of super agents decided to return to work as usual. They returned to interrogate the female examiner, asking her why she wanted to rob Artist Kang's watch, and then tried to kill him. At first, the female examiner refused to open her mouth until she threatened to soak the watch. She finally admitted that the watch contained a chip. When she opened it, she couldn't find it. Only now did the female lightning striker realize that she had been set up by the manager, and the agents also guessed the general situation. Through their investigation at the pub, they learned that the new manager was the trader for the School of Operations. Maybe he switched watches with Artist Kang and also the chip, making him the target of lightning next year. Suk's father took the opportunity to tell the female lightning player the truth. The manager was the trader to Trung Phong TAC, not Artist Kang. It's clear that the dogs have the same owner but don't know each other. The next day, Trung Phong was called by Deputy Director Meng to punish him for what happened to the female examiner. Unexpectedly, Deputy Director Meng is the most vocal person. Trung Phong only dared to kneel and listen to the curse, then asked the old man to take the female examiner out. Deputy Director Meng called to make an appointment with the director. These two people have an extremely shady relationship. Then the director came to the meeting place. Deputy Director Meng gets straight to the point. I wanted to ask the director to let the female examiner out, but he gave me conditions. Deputy Director Meng could not meet them for the time being. The director gave the old man more time before leaving. As soon as he opened the door, he immediately met my department head. He thanked the director 3 years ago for stopping him and letting him escape, but the director was actually Michael. On the other hand, Ziyun went to the hospital to visit Artist Kang. Unfortunately, he lost his temporary memory and did not recognize who Ziyun was. She took the opportunity to say that she was an employee of High-Tech Group and was assigned by Artist Kang to work as an errand boy. She took out the contract to show Artist Kang. Seeing that it was patched, he was extremely suspicious. Ziyun explained that it was because Artist Kang's pet dog bit him, so he accepted to let it go. At this time, the group of super agents received a new mission: to arrest Artist Kang's manager to get the chip and see what it actually stored. Chan Mi pretended to be an airport employee, broke into the surveillance room and then took advantage of the situation to search. The manager pretended to be a fake man and succeeded in giving away the security staff. Unfortunately, as soon as he passed through the door, he dropped the oil set, immediately catching Chan Mi's sight. But she decided not to catch him right away, to catch a bigger fish. Chan Mi zoomed in on the plane ticket the manager was holding in her hand and discovered that he was about to fly to Taipei. Perhaps this will be the location due to the chip epidemic. Chan Mi wants to take another flight to get there. However, Captain Dong called her and told her to wait, without saying how long she would wait. Chan Mi angrily returned to the base and received news that the director had released the female detective. She angrily went to find him to ask why. The director said they didn't have enough evidence to hold the person, but the female investigator was the only clue. To find the insider in high-tech, the person selling the corporation's technology to China, the super agent team can also follow it to find Michael. The director told Chan Mi that her drawing was as beautiful as 3 years ago, but what about the results? Chan Mi suddenly remembered everything. She asked the director why he insisted on dragging her into Michael's case. because someone who had made mistakes like Chan Mi would learn from experience when confronting an old enemy. The director wanted to take this opportunity to pull Chan Mi out of her obsession, and she also promised not to disappoint expectations. Chan Mi has a clear plan. As long as Director Nod agrees, he has no reason to refuse. Then the group of super agents left for the airport. They will take the flight with the manager to follow him, catching the big fish behind. On this side, Zun was assigned by the company to accompany artist Kang as an errand boy on his upcoming tour in Taipei. So Zun became his first book. The group of super agents saved part of the ticket price and boarded the Zun plane to reunite with everyone. Chan Mi pretended to be a pregnant woman, stuffing a pile of hot goods inside, and the team leader dressed up as a prostitute. As for Suk Chan's career, for some reason he became a flight attendant. Everyone was ready to take their positions. Unexpectedly, Trung Fong also appeared on the flight. He was informed by the director that the manager would be on this flight, so they also came to arrest people. In the evening, the super spy group started to act. Suddenly the security signal was interrupted. Because Trung Fong used a signal breaker, he then returned to the passenger compartment to look for the manager, accidentally letting Ji-yu realizing that. She immediately warned everyone. At that moment, the manager got up to go to the bathroom. Trung Fong quickly chased after him, but when he got to the bathroom, the person waiting there was Chan Mi. Trung Fong wanted to run away, but was overwhelmed by animals. Chan Mi steamed him in the bathroom, then asked him if he was her aunt. Trung Fong did not admit it but tried to fight him, then grabbed a toothbrush and stabbed Chan Mi in the leg. While she was in pain, he slipped away. Chan Mi didn't dare go out and cause a stir. On this side, the manager was looking for the bathroom when suddenly an old man stepped on his leg. He was so tired that he even wet his pants. The old man carefully approached, injected the manager with an anesthetic, and then removed his watch. Who is this old man other than Captain Dong? He really knows how to take advantage of opportunities. The next day, the flight landed in Taipei. Chan Mi and Captain Dong kept an eye on the manager. He had just woken up from the anesthetic and was beaten again by two people. Then the super agent team brought the manager back to Korea, then led him to the secret base for interrogation. They took out a tool to peel onions, but the manager looked disdainful. However, civilized people will not hold grudges, and just one can of laughing gas is enough to harass the manager. He was not afraid of the hammer and was afraid of laughing gas. As soon as his head was pressed, he quickly confessed everything he knew. The person he had arranged to meet in Taipei was named Vuong Kai. Once there, the manager will use a walkie-talkie given to him by a mysterious person in Korea to contact Vuong Kai. As for who the mysterious person is, the manager doesn't know. The group of super agents discussed a plan to capture Vuong Kai and find the mysterious person. But Captain Dong told everyone to hug the tree and wait for the rabbit. He discovered that the watch he took from the female examiner was still attached to the locator. Perhaps Vuong Kai would come and look for it, or the mysterious person behind this mission would appear. On the other hand, Trung Fong went to apologize to Deputy Director Meng. For the second time, he did not complete the task. The old man stuffed the bottle of insecticide into Trung Fong's mouth and said, "With those pests, Trung Fong doesn't know what to do." Trung Fong understands that he will have to destroy the group of super agents. To deal with the group of super agents, Zun has now finished analyzing the chip taken from the manager's watch, which is made with the function of identifying living objects. Once the first owner is confirmed, the system will store the manager's name. As long as the chip moves 10 meters away from him within 1 hour, it will automatically erase all data. If someone tries to copy the chip, the data will also disappear. The only way for the chip to receive a new owner is for the manager to die. Suddenly, the IT guy ran in to tell team leader Dong. While he was talking, the manager Gio's walkie-talkie picked up. The two immediately brought it to the manager to talk to Vuong Kai. To avoid causing trouble, Vuong Kai made an appointment with the manager to go to a warehouse at 10 p.m, where they would exchange the chip. Captain Dong returned to the intelligence department to ask Director Tri Vien. He was also blamed by him for sending the manager back to the country without reporting. Captain Dong said that he had his own calculations. He will take full responsibility if this mission fails. Thanks to that, the director agreed to send reinforcements. In the evening, the group of super agents arrived at the designated warehouse after assigning tasks. Captain Dong forced Zun to stay in the car so everyone could go inside and fight, but she did not agree. Zun wanted to follow and improve his combat experience. Her words accidentally made Chan Mi remember what happened with Zun's husband 3 years ago. Neither wanted to let Zun follow. However, faced with Zun's determined attitude, team leader Dong accepted the proposal. Chan Mi led the way first. The captain gave Zun a bulletproof vest, then let her follow the two seniors. After that, Captain Dong got out of the car to discuss with the manager, giving him the headset and watch containing the chip. The manager was very afraid of death. The captain encouraged him to rest assured to follow instructions. The agents would not let him be in danger. The worried manager went in, and reinforcements also came to surround the warehouse, waiting for orders. On this side, 3 female agents saw the manager being led away and immediately followed. They broke down the door and saw the manager had a time bomb attached to him by the girls. Jia MEP is holding the detonator. He forced the 3 girls to put down their guns and surrender. They had no choice but to do it. The watch containing the chip was taken away by the gang. Jia MEP guy approached Chan Mi. Arrest Captain Dong and send reinforcements to release the explosives. He knew Chan Mi was wearing a headset to receive instructions from outside. The East captain had to order the reinforcements to get out of the way, and the disciples just left leisurely. Inside, Diamep stayed behind to hold the explosion, waiting for his accomplices to be safe before retreating. But it wasn't that easy. Chan Mi dropped the explosive in Diamep's hand with one kick. Vo will deal with him. The remaining 2 people will deal with the bomb, scoop up a dozen bomb photos from Chan, and ask the bomb disposal team for remote support. The bomb disposal officer told Zol to cut the red wire. Usually it would be the heat wire, but her hunch told her to cut the yellow wire. Zol did not listen to the instructions of the bomb disposal officer, causing the manager to wet his pants. As a result, Zol's hunch was correct, and everyone was able to breathe a sigh of relief. Just cut the bomb's power cord and it's done. Everyone has to continue holding their breath. While Zol was arguing, Chan Mi had to struggle with the guy with the mustache. He was not an ordinary type, fighting very evenly with her. However, Jia MEP's main purpose is still to steal back the explosion. The 2 sides fight back and forth. Unfortunately, Jia MEP guy grabbed the stick, beat Chan Mi down, then took the opportunity to pick up the stick and explode. Jia MEP tried to detonate, but he was a step faster and was able to cut the power cord in time. Jia MEP was stunned because the bomb didn't explode, so Chan Mi took the opportunity to grab the ordinary wire, killing him and then knocking down Jia MEP guy. There was blurred writing on his hand. Chan Mi thought Jia MEP guy was Michael, but his shoulder did not have the bullet wound she shot 3 years ago. He grinned and looked at Chan Mi with a smile. This is not over yet. Chan Mi suddenly looked back at the bomb. The timer was still ticking. The bomb has not been deactivated yet. Only now do people realize this is a 3-second time bomb. In addition to the heat and power seconds, the bomb also has a 1-second timer, which is not enough time for them to find the last strand. Suk Chan and Zol quickly took the bomb off the manager's body. They didn't do it sooner, did they? The actor pushed Chan Mi down and then ran away, wanting to lock everyone here and explode. But it's not easy for Chan Mi to make his wish come true. She picked up a penguin and threw it so close that it jammed the door. Taking the opportunity to scoop up the blanket, Ziyun picked up the bomb and threw it, falling right at the press's feet. Then 3 female agents blocked the door, and the bomb exploded, causing a huge commotion. But the destructive power cannot penetrate solid iron doors. Everyone inside was in no danger of life, but Diamep was blown up and flew to hell. On the other side, the girls brought the chip back to Vuong Kai. He had to ask the guy wearing glasses to know how to copy the data inside. After Vuong Kai finished his job and led the girls away, the guy wearing glasses contacted Diamep, but received no response. He knew the plan failed, so he was extremely bitter. The next day, Captain Dong went to the director to admit his mistake. Not only did the girls take away the chip, but the only witness was manager Also Lam, who fell into a coma. The director just dug Omsum, putting all the responsibility on the group of super agents. Now Captain Dong voiced his doubts. There are troubles within the intelligence department, from the manager's name appearing on the flight to information about this mission. It seemed that the head of style knew and had prepared in advance. After listening, the director had a clueless look on his face. In fact, he is an internal agent. The director still hesitates to cast suspicion on Chan Mi, but Captain Dong didn't believe she was a traitor. The director angrily kicked him out. Then Captain Dong returned to the office. Now the super spy group can eliminate the artist as a suspect. Chan Mi can also eliminate Director Jun. Because of her recent observation, she didn't see anything unusual about him. Only the mysterious Deputy Director Meng remained, and his henchman is the head of the operations department. The team of super agents will have to closely monitor these 2 people. Today is the weekend. The guy wearing glasses still comes to work at the company. The guy finds it strange, so he follows him. Suddenly, the guy wearing glasses received a text message from Michael, and they arranged to go to a restaurant to discuss something important. The captain immediately informed the 3 female agents, but the daycare wasn't open today, so he had to look after the children. She asked the captain for the next address. Chan Mi could not be contacted. Only Suk Chan participated in the mission. She pretended to be a restaurant employee and accidentally met Chan Mi on a blind date here. Suddenly, the ex-wife of the target of the blind date appeared. Chan Mi immediately wanted to leave, but the man kept pulling her back. At this moment, the guy wearing glasses came to the restaurant. Suk Tran took the woman's direction. Tran Mai took the opportunity to kick the man down, then drag him under the table and knock him out. Then she immediately slipped out and returned to the base vehicle with Captain Dong. At that time, Suk Tran stood in a corner and saw the guy wearing glasses waiting for Michael. Suddenly, he received a text message. Michael warned the guy wearing glasses. While an agent was watching, he quickly stood up and left, and the guy wearing glasses went out and took a taxi to escape. Captain Dong ordered Mr. It to drive the base vehicle to chase, and Suk Tran ran outside. She clung to the base vehicle. Tran Mai opened the door and offered her his hand, but Suk Trang's strength did not follow the monkey. The It guy had to reverse the car so she could get in. Just as she was about to continue walking, Xian ran over carrying her child. She also wants to participate in this mission. A group of super agents on their way to chase the guy wearing glasses. Unfortunately for him to notice, the guy wearing glasses ordered the driver to speed up and then go in another direction. Due to the base vehicle being cut in half, the group of super agents began blaming each other, doing reckless things so that the guy wearing glasses would find out. In the end, all the responsibility fell on team leader Dong because he forced the members to work all day on Sunday. Captain Dong got out of the car and everyone had to follow him and coax the group to come up with ideas. Break into the glasses guy's room through the ventilation duct to investigate what he's doing there. Thinking about the previous accident made Suk Tran go blind, but if she hadn't gone in, who else would be familiar with the terrain? Zux Tran had no choice but to accept the mission. In the evening, Tran Mai took Zux Tran to the roof and threw the rope over the glasses-wearing guy's office. Zux Tran will swing the rope over there, but unexpectedly she will exceed the load, causing the rope to sag. Zux Tran was suspended in mid-air. She tried her best to climb over the building. Then Zux Tran followed the ventilation duct and found the office of the guy wearing glasses. Her wild laughter unintentionally made the man look up at the foot of the house, right into Zux Tran's face. The guy wearing glasses thought he had encountered a ghost, scared to hide under the table. The staff member looked up and saw no one. The guy wearing glasses tried again. Sukan showed his face again and threatened. Han was so scared that he asked the staff to take him outside to get some fresh air. Suk-chan took the opportunity to sneak into the office, connect data to the phone of the guy wearing glasses and steal the information. Outside, the guy wearing glasses was scared, and the staff told him the story about the witch who died in the fire. Han became more and more uneasy. Later, the staff said this was just a rumor. The guy wearing glasses returned to the office with peace of mind. He tried to look up at the foot of the house one last time, bravely challenging the devil. The spill showed his face and scared him out of his wits before leaving, causing the guy wearing glasses to stop fainting. Then he shoveled it back into the car, leaked it from the stolen phone data, and found the contact numbers of Michael and Chan Mi, but no one answered the phone. The team leader had to ask someone to locate the number. Unexpectedly, the other end of the line was in the office. Director. At that time, the director heard the phone ringing and was confused. He tried to check the number calling him, but it came out. In Chan Mi's information, the director immediately turned off the phone, causing the super agent team to lose track, and the information department could not identify Michael's number, making the captain and Chan Mi extremely angry. Now they only knew that Michael was in a relationship with the guy wearing glasses, so they had to direct their investigation at him, but the group didn't know they were also being followed by the guy wearing glasses. Turns out, the guy wearing glasses once installed VZAT software on his phone. When someone steals data from Han's phone and views it on another computer or phone, VZAT will infiltrate and control the device. Help the guy wearing glasses to follow the other person and look at Ji-eun's beautiful face. In the head of the guy wearing glasses, a dark plan came up. The next day, Chan Mi was taken on a business trip by Director Jun. On the way, she discovered 3 stalkers. For some reason, they had an argument while driving. Chan Mi took the opportunity to speed up, but the 3 stalkers still noticed and chased her, so she had to turn to a forest station to handle the situation. Chan Mi asked someone to confirm the license plate numbers of the 3 stalkers. Then she angrily directed Director Jun to go somewhere else to deal with them one by one. First, the detective was taking the spot. Chan Mi got into the car and gave him a warning. The detective tried his best to resist but couldn't. While struggling, he accidentally stepped on the car's horn, making Director Jun notice that Chan Mi pushed the dead guy's head down, avoiding Director Jun's eyes, then stole the memory card from the camera to see what he had stolen. The second person Chan Mi dealt with was a fat guy who came in with a water bottle and threw it at his head to provoke him, then took him to a hidden corner to pretend to be safe. Chan Mi directly showed her strength, asking the fat guy why he was following her. It turned out that he saw the other two stalkers walking too fast, so he wanted to race with them and had no intention of following Chan Mi, when suddenly Director Jun came. Chan Minute turns himself into a weak willow and is being harassed by the fat guy. Director Jun saw this and rushed to save her. The fat guy wanted to explain but was stopped by Chan Mi. She threatened the fat guy and forced him to keep it a secret. Now Chan Mi has to continue with Director Jun. There is no chance to deal with the remaining stalkers. The guy in black witnessed everything she had just done, immediately called to report to his superiors, only to receive instructions in return. Be careful because Chan Mi is not an ordinary agent. He was ordered to continue monitoring her. At this time, Director Jun led Chan Mi to a cemetery. It turned out that the two of them were not on a business trip. The director wanted to take Chan Mi to visit the grave of her late father, who was also the chairman of High Tech Corporation. What makes Chan Mi wonder is that the day the chairman died was the same day she participated in the mission to capture Michael 3 years ago. Director Jun also told her that his father's personality was not normal, so Director Jun sent a confidant to Taipei looking for the president's old secretary. After he died, the secretary also disappeared. Recently, Director Jun's confidant had a clue. He was ordered to find the secretary's name to investigate the president's character. The secretary told Director Jun's confidants that the chairman's character was related to Deputy Director Meng, because the chairman discovered that the old man had blacklisted Milk. Even the chairman's driver knew about that, but a confidant told the secretary that the other driver had died 2 years ago. Hearing this, the secretary was extremely worried. He immediately chased away Director Jun's confidants and locked the door, afraid that the guards would follow him to the house. He never expected that his confidant would just walk a short distance. A detective was sent to the secretary's residence. He was discovered when the detective knocked on the door. The secretary stopped his son from opening the door, but the boy still did it, but there was no one outside. Luckily for the secretary's family, Director Jun's personality helped them handle the investigation. At this time, Ziyun was called to his house by artist Kang. He took advantage of the contract and turned Ziyun into an unpaid servant for his house. She was very angry but still had to be patient. In the evening, Ziyun wanted to return to her daughter, but artist Kang continued to bring up the contract issue and forced her to stay. Ziyun warmly wished to scold him. A contract is not something to turn others into your slaves. The artist was even more like a child abandoned by his mother, remaining silent and not daring to refute, so he had to let June go home. As soon as she went outside, it started to rain. The artist was even more apologetic and brought out an umbrella for June to protect her from the rain. Discovering her head lying on the ground, he suspected that Jun had been caught as a cop. On the other side, Chan Mi was having fun with Director Jun when the rain came. Mr. quickly ran to buy an umbrella and told Chan Mi to find a temporary shelter. As Director Jun left, Chan Mi accidentally saw the last stalker's car. She approached to check and the guy drove away. Chan Mi decided to chase her. It turned out he just wanted to lure her to a deserted place. The guy in the black shirt got out of the car and fought. Chan Mi grabbed a broken umbrella and rushed at him. She had a weapon, so she beat the man in black, thinking he was lying down, but instead he got up and unleashed his dragon legs. When Chan Mi was pushed back, the man in black pulled out a needle and tried to inject her. Chan Mi caught it and laid him on the ground. She found in her pocket a walkie-talkie identical to the agent's. She did not expect that this guy in black was from the intelligence department. A few inattentive actions cost Chan Mi. The man in black grabbed her tightly and injected the drug, causing Chan Mi to fall into a coma. The guy in the black shirt drove her away, just as the water passed Director Jun. He turned back to look for Chan Mi but couldn't find her, and she didn't answer his phone call either, so he was extremely worried. In the car, the guy in the black shirt talked to his superiors and announced that the mission had been completed. Chan Mi suddenly woke up. He suddenly cut the man in black's neck, making him suffocate, causing the car to lose control and an accident occurred. Luckily, Chan Mi couldn't control the situation, so she took the black-shirted guy's hand to listen to it. Chan Mi realized that the voice on the other end was extremely familiar. She took out her phone and called the IT guy, asking where the director was. The IT guy saw that he was still in the office. Chan Mi hurriedly returned. She did not forget to inform Director Jun, saying that there was something important in Seoul, so she should go home first. Director, please return yourself. Right after that, Director Jun received another message from a trusted friend. See you soon to report on your recent trip to Taipei. Director Jun is about to have clues about his father's death. On the other hand, Zul went to his daughter. It turned out that she was not a cop, but someone threatened Zul's daughter's Mark. He immediately called and arrested her according to his instructions, reporting on the activities of the super spy group. Jun was scared, took her child home and closed the door. Suddenly she received a call from the copper captain. June hesitated to answer the phone, but the mysterious person texted her again, forcing June to answer the phone. Otherwise, she would take her daughter away again. Unexpectedly, the guy wearing glasses was watching June through her own laptop. At this time, a detective posing as a laundry staff broke into the Intelligence Bureau's prison. He threw smoke bombs to alert the fire alarm system, then headed towards the manager's cell. Encountering someone who stood in his way, the judge dealt with it extremely quickly. After entering the manager's cell, the detective used a chain around his neck to put him away and then went down to the basement where the detective, Nguyen Trang, turned into a police car. Mr. Dung drove away. By the time the agents of the intelligence department arrived, there was only one mixed team left in the cell. Upon receiving the news, the team leader immediately gathered everyone, but Chan Mai should not be lost. He stopped the group of super agents and forced the whole team to disband. Everyone did not understand the reason. The director said that they constantly messed up, and he blamed the manager's nature on the team leader. Only the useless group couldn't catch the culprit. The director was insecure about Trung Fong, saying he was the manager's traitor, but the group of super agents lost track of him. Actually, the director and deputy director had discussed it in advance. The leader has repeatedly screwed up and has no value as an advantage, so let him take the blame. Now Chan Mi wondered why the director sent someone to follow her. He did not explain but hid in the meeting room and locked the door. Chan Mi couldn't open the door and tried to use a fire extinguisher to break the glass. The director had to go outside to give her an explanation. He tricked everyone into saying that the reason he followed Chan Mi was because he discovered she had feelings for Director Jun, causing all eyes to turn to her. The director successfully escaped everyone's suspicions. Chan Mi didn't want to explain, so she escaped to the rooftop. Here she met Captain Dong and discovered that the two were husband and wife. Captain Dong soon learned about Chan Mi's feelings for Director Jun, but still let her stay by his side, because Director Jun is the only one who can restrain Chan Mi's aggressive nature. If she can practice calmness, every mission will have a 100% success rate. At this time, Director Jun came to meet his confidants. He learned that his father's personality was related to Deputy Director Meng. The confidant wants to help Director Jun find the Black Book. Even though he knows it will be dangerous, Director Jun can only remind the confidant to be careful. Deputy Director Meng is an extremely famous old man. The next day, he came to the surveillance room in confidence to probe the whereabouts of Deputy Director Meng at the company. He was told by security staff that the old man often went to work 3 hours early and returned on time. Deputy Director Meng's office is also strange. Only the old man and a cleaning staff can enter, and this woman was hired by Deputy Director Meng himself. When these two people arrive, the door will automatically open. Accidentally, the confidant discovered that one day the cleaning staff came, but the door did not open. She used something to open the door, and finally the confidant found a way to get into Deputy Director Meng's office. In the evening, Chan Mi was taken out to eat by Director Jun. Suddenly she received a call from an unknown number. Chan Mi asked permission to go outside to answer the phone, but the person who called back was Trung Fong. He wants to make a deal with Chan Mi. Trung Fong sent her a photo. It turned out that the night the manager was assassinated in the intelligence department prison, the School of Manners also appeared there. He also got a photo of the examiner attacking the manager, and the examiner's name was Michael. Trung Fong wants Chan Mi to help him get Deputy Director Meng's Black Book. In return, he will tell her who Michael is, suggesting it is someone very close to Chan Mi. Suddenly, Director Jun walked up to Chan Mi. Startled, she quickly hung up and then yelled at Director Jun, "Let him go home first." Then Chan Mi texted Suk-chan to ask her out. Suk-chan secretly hid from her husband, but unfortunately stepped on his foot. The husband was in pain, but she endured it. He wanted to see what his wife was planning to do in the middle of the night. Suk-chan went out together with Chan Mi's group. Then Chan Mi recounted all the stories the room had told her. Everyone was confused. Could Michael really be someone inside the intelligence department? Chan Amai even confirmed that he was the director, because everything he did seemed to be aimed at disbanding the group of super agents. Chan Amai wanted to get Deputy Director Mung's Black Book to discuss with the Chief of Operations. In order to get evidence to incriminate the director, everyone worked together to draw up a specific battle plan. Suddenly, Suk Chan's husband showed his face in. He secretly followed to see what his wife was doing, but lost sight of her. "I have a car parked right next to my house, so I'll try to check it out." Everyone quickly ducked down to avoid him and drove away. Suk Tran stayed behind to distract her husband so he wouldn't get suspicious. Avoid unnecessary trouble. On this side, the base vehicle drove a short distance. Then Xian got out of the vehicle. She called someone to inform someone that Chan Amai was going to steal Deputy Director Mung's black number tomorrow. The next day, the group of super agents started taking action, but things didn't seem to go well. Suk Tran's manager confiscated all of the agents' belongings. Luckily, she was able to hide a location tracker. Zun's side was no better. She couldn't log in to the intelligence department's internal network to retrieve information about the company, so she couldn't find any gaps for the action team. Chan Amai's side was also warned by Captain Dong, if this mission fails, maybe the whole group will get a reward. But Chan Amai still trusted her 100%, so Captain Dong had to follow her to take the final risk. Chan Amai then came to Deputy Director Mung's room, held out the orange for Zun to check the door, and told Chan to steal all the toilet paper, holding Deputy Director Mung's secretary in the toilet. After finding the key to the door, Chan Amai threw a letter here and left, returning to Zun to analyze for everyone. The door to Deputy Director Mung's room was locked with a beacon sensor. You had to use the sensor lock to open it. Zun accidentally discovered that the company logo on the secretary's shirt had something strange. It had a very unusual blue dot. She immediately recognized that this was the unlocking sensor, but that thing had to turn red to open. Perhaps the secretary had limited time in and out of the office. Then the unlock sensor can only be obtained from Deputy Director Mung, because the old man will not set limits on entering and leaving the office for himself. In case something happens, the company has a site survey in the afternoon, and both the director and deputy director have to go. Chan Amai was brought along by Director Jun as an assistant. She also took this opportunity to search for the sensor lock on Deputy Director Mung. Chan Amai suddenly listed 4 items that could be sensor locks, including sleeve badge buttons and tie clips. During the survey at the construction site, Chan Amai continuously kept an eye on Deputy Director Mung, eventually discovering the sensor lock mounted on the tie clip. Just get it and you'll be able to enter the old man's office. On the other hand, Congressman Kang saw the news about the manager's nature. It was proposed to create a self-examination case and all responsibility was placed on Congressman Kang. They said that because you avoided forcing the manager, he was born thinking that Congressman Kang was losing his mind. Can't remember exactly what I did. Outside the group of reporters surrounding the house, Jun followed orders from his superiors, bringing the contract cancellation letter to Congressman Kang Ji. Seeing the reporters at the door, she didn't know how to enter the house. Suddenly, artist Kang Kai's uncle came out the back door. Maybe he knew Xian was coming, so he picked him up. She followed her uncle through the back door into the house. Xian discovered a bottle of sleeping pills lying on the ground. Thinking that artist Kang had taken self-reflection pills, Xian was about to call an ambulance, but artist Kang held her hand to stop her. Turns out he was just taking medicine to help him sleep. The recent pressure made artist Kang so stressed that he couldn't sleep. Xian had to comfort the commissioner. In this situation, she didn't dare give him the opportunity to cancel the contract to sign. The next day, Chan Amai asked Team Leader Dong to find him a tie clip, similar to Deputy Director Mung's. But that was the low-end version. Captain Dong didn't have enough money to buy it, so he had to fake it to make it look as similar as possible. After that, Chan Amai returned to work. When she brought coffee to Director Jun, she accidentally met his ex-wife. The two seemed to be arguing. The director's ex-wife angrily threw the coffee all over the house. Chan Amai cleaned up and returned to the office. Unexpectedly, Director Jun's ex-wife was waiting here. She knew about Chan Amai's identity and asked why she approached Director Jun. It turned out that the director's ex-wife was the one who sent the detective. Following Chan Amai a few days ago, she still pretended not to know anything. Director Jun's ex-wife had to leave. At that moment, Chan Amai received a text message. Team Leader Dong brought a fake tie clip to the company. He threw it into the hat for her to pick up. She put it in her coffee cup, then threw it on Deputy Director Mung. The fake tie clip fell to the ground, scooped up the fake guy who had just wiped the old man's shirt, and then threw away the real clip. VU picked up the fake tie clip and gave it to Deputy Director Mung. The old fake guy examined it very carefully. Suddenly there was a call, so Deputy Director Mung left. It turned out to be the captain who rescued Suk Tran, but the group of super agents did not know that Deputy Director Mung Bitch Thai was a fake fox, and the Thai clip they got was also a fake. In the evening, the super agent group began to act. Suk Tran turned off the building's power source, making everything dark. Chan Amai had 10 minutes to break into Deputy Director Mung's office to get the black book, but the super agent group was one step late. Director Jun's confidant acted first. He destroyed the camo at the door of Deputy Director Mung's office, then used the sensor lock he took from the cleaning staff to open the door and break into the office. Very quickly, the confidant found the black book. At this moment Chan Amai came. The confidant turned around and rushed out to cover her basket. Chan Amai quickly reflexively knocked him down. The two of them rushed to fight. The confidant accidentally let the black book fall. Chan Amai snatched it. The confidant used a Sharpie pen on her hand. She also used a piece of glass to cut his leg, but still let the confidant take the black book away. Chan Amai was about to follow when the lights turned on and Deputy Director Mung pulled a group of security guards over. It turned out that it was an illusion that set a trap for a group of super agents from the moment they caught the eye. But Deputy Director Mung still wondered, how did Chan Amai get here? She explained that she came here to pick up the forgotten letter. If you detect an intruder, touch it a bit, but let that person escape. Deputy Director Mung did not believe it. According to the person who searched Chan Amai, she was extremely cooperative, but Bao An and the others did not dare. Director Jun's confidant took the notebook and fled to the underground parking garage. But when I opened it and saw that it was all written about random things, I realized that I had been deceived and my confidant was extremely angry. The teammates could not contact Chan Amai, so they were extremely worried. They thought she was being deceived. Chan Amai was kept by Bao group. Deputy Director Mung called Director Jun to inform him. Bao An should come and explain to his subordinates. Later, Director Jun was present. He wanted to ignore this matter because the security couldn't find anything on Chan Amai. But Deputy Director Mung did not let it go easily. The old man wanted to report to the National Intelligence Agency because he thought Chan Amai was a foreign spy and sacrificed to steal technology. In fact, Deputy Director Mung knew that Chan Amai was an agent of the intelligence department, so he deliberately made things difficult for him. The old man soon colluded with the director to have the super agent group disbanded. Chan Amai will also be a card for Deputy Director Mung to set conditions with Director Jun. The old man wanted him to give him the company's current project as a condition for releasing Chanmi. Director Jun had no way to agree, so Chanmi went out to thank and apologize to the director. He said that he had lost faith in her. Chanmi asked Director Jun for one more chance. He has never trusted anyone more than once, but decided to break that rule for Chanmi. After Director Jun left, Chanmi returned to gather with everyone, not expecting the group of super agents to be so skilled. This time, Chanmi's purpose was to break into Deputy Director Mung's office. In fact, it was to probe, knowing that the old man was trapping her, so she used the trick of hitting him on the back. Everyone guessed that besides the sensor door, Deputy Director Mung would not leave the black number in a hidden place. Chan Amai found its location and knew she had to use her fingerprint to open it, so she took advantage of the letter to get Deputy Director Mung's fingerprint. As for the sensor lock, Suk Chan actually saw Director Jun's identity take it away from the cleaning staff, so stealing it was not a difficult thing. Early the next morning, the super agent group continued to act. Suk Tran gave the cleaning staff sleeping pills, stole the sensor lock, and then broke into the Deputy Director Mung's room. Following Chan Amai's instructions, she found a safe containing black books. Suk Tran used the fingerprint that Captain Dong had prepared to press directly into the lock, successfully opened the safe and took out the black book. At this moment, the deputy director came to the company, and team leader Dong Ruc Suk Tran quickly went out. She threw the notebook into the trash and pushed it away. Unfortunately, Suk Tran encountered Deputy Director Mung outside the door. The old man forced her to stop, but it turned out he was just throwing away his coffee cup. Suk Tran tried to hide the book, but fortunately he was able to fight the fire and was met by the deputy director. It wasn't until the old man returned to his room that he realized the black book was missing. Once he was able to control his anger, the omsum was over. Suk Tran brought the black book back to everyone, but when he opened it, it was all blank paper, making him think he had been scammed again. Jun discovered the opportunity again. Through the smell she knew, the deputy director used a Coqueltuo ink pen to write. Just need to heat it and the words would appear. Captain Dong threw everyone a pop. Just as June said, writing really appeared. Everyone's efforts were not in vain. Chan Amai then returned to the office and accidentally saw a wound on Director Jun's trusted face. He also saw the wound on Chan Amai's hand. The two started making up a story about having an accident. Suddenly the water bottle on the table fell down. The confidant used the heel of her shoe to kick up. Chan Amai headed towards it like in the previous episode. Both saw that the other was not ordinary. Not directly complaining, remembering the stranger they met last night, the two became suspicious of each other. Chan Mi called and asked the guy to investigate her trusted identity. He also asked someone to find Chan Mi's information. Zian was on her way home when she suddenly received a phone call from a guy wearing glasses. He forced her to get a black cable. In exchange for her daughter's life, Zian had no choice but to return to intelligence. Waiting for Captain Dong to leave the base vehicle, she broke inside and stole the black book. The guy wearing glasses called again to ask about the situation. Zian said he got the black book. He sent someone directly to take the black book away. Unexpectedly, everything was in Captain Dong's arrangement. Previously, Zabun reported the story of someone using his daughter to threaten her to the captain. He came up with a plan to hit him on the back, make that person appear. The notebook that Zian stole is equipped with a location chip. Then just follow it to reach the person behind it. Who would have thought that Captain Dong would come to the director's room? The person who took the black book away was his henchman in the black shirt. Seeing the captain of the Eastern Department kneeling down, but he quickly regained his authority, yelled at him and kicked him out. Captain Dong directly handcuffed the man in black, then went to get the chip from the leather notebook. This time, let's see why the director argues. He asked him why he did that. The director said frankly, because he considered the group of super agents to be a bunch of insects that stood in the way. Hearing this, he angrily scooped up the blanket and wiped it. The robber kicked him once, then sat on him and punched him, not knowing who was the worm. Then the director was brought into the interrogation room. Chan Mi told him he should confess directly, but the director cleaned up all the evidence in the office and was not the one who threatened Zun's daughter. He only received orders to pick up the black book, but what he brought back was a blank book, nothing convincing enough to incriminate the director. If she wants evidence, Chan Mi will go find evidence. She also promises to arrest the person behind the chief of family law department. Chan Mi didn't bother to say more to the rude director. She turned around and left. Another person who was close to Director Jun. Many investigations about Chan Mi have resulted in the fact that the identity she used to interview for the company was fake. Later, if there were some clues about Chan Mi's whereabouts, a trusted person would come to her house to check, who would have discovered that she was an agent, investigating many people, including information about Director Jun. Then Tin immediately left Chan Mi's house to report. When Chan Mi returned later, she discovered her room had been broken into. Director Jun's file was opened. Knowing that he discovered that she was a special agent, Chan Mi called to end her mission to monitor Director Jun. Moving on to another task, the next day she went to the company to clean up her things, but Director Jun didn't bother to come see her. Then Tin said that the director was disappointed in Chan Mi, and she was also very sad for taking advantage of his trust. But Director Jun couldn't bear it and signed the decision to let Chan Mi quit. On this side, Zian was in a daze when his superiors came to check on him about not letting the parliamentarian guard sign the contract cancellation paper. But what are you doing now that you're still in the mood? Zian investigated her husband's nature and knew it was related to Chanmi. Zian couldn't help but stand up. She wanted to find Chanmi and ask why. When she met Chanmi, Zian wanted to know why Chanmi abandoned her husband while his life was in danger. Chanmi directly admitted her mistake because of her. Zian's husband was not saved in time. Chan Mi took out the ring that Jun's husband left behind and returned it to Jun. At first, she planned to catch the killer and torture him, then return the ring. But because Jun knew the whole truth, Chan Mi couldn't continue to keep it. Jun was moved and cried without a sound. She was temporarily unable to face the truth. Chan Mi left Jun alone and left. In the evening, Chan Mi received a call from the style school. He wanted her to give her the funds, in exchange for a video of Michael attacking the manager. In the prison of the intelligence department, helping Chan Mi quickly capture Michael, the two gave each other a time and place. Both will go there alone. The next day, Chan Mi sent a voice message to Zian apologizing and promised to catch the person who cheated on her husband. As soon as Zian realized Chan Mi was preparing to act alone, she immediately informed Captain Dong. He immediately set out to find Chan Mi. Captain Dong asked you for it. Locate where she is. The guy was taking care of Zian's child, so he used her computer to check. Discovering Chan Mi is by the boat, guessing that she will meet Trung Fong TAC on the yacht. Suddenly, the computer was invaded by a virus. The guy panicked and reported to team leader Dong. He told you to find that bad hacker. On this side, Chan Mi went to Trung Fong TAC and gave him the black book. Trung Fong TAC also followed the contract, giving her the phone containing the video of Michael naming the manager. Trung Fong TAC used a lighter to make the words appear. Suddenly Chan Mi kicked the notebook into the lighter, causing it to catch fire. It turned out that she had already blacklisted her. Trung Phong used his foot to put out the fire, but was kicked out by Chan Mi. The two sides fought each other. Chan Mi hit Trung Phong with a bottle on his head and ran away. He also immediately chased after her. On the way, Trung Phong used an axe to help her. While Chan Mi stopped to check the balance, he carried the axe to her, intending to kill her. Suddenly, a car rushed towards her, causing Trung Phong to fly into the sea. Let him go back to the elders. A guy wearing the same shirt got out of the car. Chan Mi didn't recognize him, but he knew her. The doubleheader pulled out a gun and aimed it straight at Chan Mi, forcing her to throw down the department head's phone. Chan Mi had no choice but to follow suit. The suspect thought Chan Mi had seen the video on her phone. Just as he was about to finish her off, Jun suddenly appeared, holding a gun and pointing it at him. The enemy didn't show any fear. Because he knew Jun had no experience with guns, he shot her straight. Chan Mi quickly rushed out to help Jun. Just as Captain Dong and Suk Tran arrived, hearing the gunshots, they rushed to the scene. They both saw Zian crying, next to Chan Mi, who was shot and wounded, and the person with the same head was no longer here. Captain Dong immediately called an ambulance. He did not expect that the person with the same head was the guy wearing glasses who shot people, but he happily drove back. It turned out that the guy wearing glasses, thanks to a tracking virus installed on Zian's computer, knew that Chan Mi acted alone, so he came to deal with her. At this time, Chan Mi was taken to the hospital. It seemed her condition was extremely critical. Team leader Dong blamed Xeun because she was standing so close, she couldn't see his face, and couldn't even squeeze or shoot him, touching Chan in Xeun's area, a person who had never fought in the field before. How to have enough courage when facing that situation? Captain Dong also gradually cooled down. He received a call from the guy who found out that the person who installed the virus on Xeun's computer was the guy wearing glasses. The virus was installed when they stole data from his phone. The team leader became suspicious that the person who shot Chan Mi was related to the guy wearing glasses. Just as the doctors came out, announcing Chan Mi's condition, she might not wake up. After hearing that, everyone was extremely worried. Everyone hoped that wouldn't happen. Another party heard that Chan Mi had an accident, and the director was extremely happy. He thought that without Chan Mi he would easily escape prison. The director contacted his master. Unexpectedly, she is the ex-wife of Director Jun. In addition to being the ex-wife of the director, she is also a CEO of High-Tech Group. The director wanted to ask the female CEO for help, so he could get out quickly. However, the female CEO said that now the director has no useful value and can only self-destruct. The director listened to the song and threatened to release all evidence about the two people's relationship. The female CEO is not afraid, because she can use love and power to cover up everything. After speaking, the female CEO turned off the phone and the director called her back but didn't even listen. He was very angry but couldn't do anything. Over here, Director Jun is still confused. Should I sign a decision to let Chan Mi quit? His confidant stopped him and told the director about Chan Mi being an agent. She has no bad intentions towards the company. Furthermore, Chan Mi is in the hospital now. Hearing this, Director Jun could no longer sit still. He stood up and immediately went to the hospital to visit Chan Mi, where Director Jun was stopped by Captain Dong, not allowing him to disturb Chan Mi's rest. Luckily, a trusted friend appeared to hold the captain back to help the director. The two got into a fight. Seeing that the opponent also has the same technique as me, Captain Dong wondered who he really was. He was trusted and could not reveal his identity, but when the two people got a chance to fight, Director Jun ran all the way to Chan Mi's hospital room. The teachers still lay motionless, but he sat back and shared all the feelings in his heart that he had never had the opportunity to express before. 3 years ago, when the intelligence department was on a mission to arrest Michael, the director of the department was taken out to eat by Deputy Director Meng. Knowing about the old man's attack on the president of High-Tech Group, the director was extremely angry, but the two agreed to join the team. So he couldn't do anything to Deputy Director Meng. The old man even took advantage of that, threatening to force the director to stop it. Agents of the Intelligence Bureau arrest Michael, the head of the opportunistic agent department, who took photos of the meeting. That statement served as evidence to force the director to listen. After seeing the photos, he realized he was being set up. The director hurriedly ran to the agents. Seeing that Chan Mi was about to shoot Michael, he immediately stopped them. As a result, he escaped. While intelligence was examining the scene, the director discovered Michael's phone, including a recording of him talking to Deputy Director Meng. The old man asked Michael to steal the technology of another desk, to bring it back to make it his own. The content of the conversation also includes the time and location of the transaction. The director hid Michael's phone in his pocket and smiled triumphantly, returning to reality. The director called Deputy Director Mung. Prove that the deputy director and Michael have a relationship, creating illegal technology theft. Hearing that, the old man's face did not change. Anyone who intended to confront him would have to go down the road of death. In the evening, someone brought food to the prison for the director. He criticized the rice for having little meat, but he still had to eat it. Immediately after that, the director's body began to feel uncomfortable. He fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth. Someone poisoned the food. On the other hand, Chan Mi's condition suddenly stopped getting worse. The doctors tried their best to cure her, but she did not wake up. Everyone stood around the hospital bed worried. In some miraculous way, Chan Mi suddenly widened her eyes. The first person she mentioned was Michael. Chan Mi sat up as if nothing had happened. She said that she saw Michael attack Zun's husband and the director of the production department. These are two people standing in his way. Chan Mi suspects the next person Mi will target. It's the chief. Everyone was extremely confused. Captain Dong immediately called the intelligence department, but no one picked up the phone. He had to make his way back. Xe Yuan and Suk Chan also followed. Chan Mi also tried to drag herself out. She wants to return to the intelligence department with everyone. But because the wound is fresh, Chan Mi walked for a while and couldn't stand it anymore and almost fell. Mi had Director Jun run to help her. When there is no one left by Chan Mi's side, he will be the only one. At this time, the group of super agents returned to the intelligence department, only to see that the director was no longer breathing. After exhaustedly, Captain Dong discovered that a guy wearing a raincoat was delivering food. He gave the box to the security guard but carefully covered his hand. The security guard did not check carefully and let the other person bring in the food. Even the person receiving the food couldn't see his face clearly. Captain Dong was angry. A group of agents were easily fooled, forcing the agent receiving the food to write a report. The next day, he brought a photo of the guy in the raincoat to the hospital to see if Chan Mi recognized him. She saw that the guy in the raincoat was very familiar, as if she had met him somewhere. He also had a blurred word on his hand, just like the guy with the twirling face who confronted him last time. He must have been with the guy who was infiltrating the school. Born from the same organization, Director Jun suddenly appeared, wanting to kick Captain Dong out. Chan Mi has just recovered. She needs to rest and maintain her strength, not continue to be involved in lies. The two men looked at each other with bullet-shaped eyes. When I turned around, Chan Mi had disappeared. She just escaped from the hospital room. Being discovered by Xe Yuan again, Chan Mi wants to go home to check, because she remembered where she had seen the guy in the raincoat before. Xe Yuan had to take Chan Mi home. Chan Mi flipped through the documents she had investigated over the past 3 years. Teacher Chan Mi couldn't keep calm. Xe Yuan immediately stopped her because following her would make Chan Mi work hard. June also knew that she did that to find the lettuce in her. Part of her was grateful, but part of her felt guilty. June doesn't want Chan Mi to continue to be haunted by that matter anymore, nor does he do everything alone. Everyone in the super agent group was always by her side. Chan Mi felt comforted. She promised June that she would let everyone use their strength to complete the task. The next day, the group of super agents gathered together, outlined a new battle plan, and analyzed the qualities of the director. Captain Dong thinks it's related to the Black Book. The team of super agents will have to find out what it is. All spearheads gradually point towards Deputy Director Mung. Maybe he is the last insect. After that, everyone returned to their tasks, Suk Tran still diligently cleaning. Tran Mi returned to work as Director Jun's secretary. Zun's superior's FD signed a contract with artist Kang. Because of the manager's incident, the artist's reputation is gradually returning, and the company wants to let him continue to be the representative face. But Ziyun doesn't agree. People are not things. If you like them, you can use them. If you like them, you can throw them away. Teacher Ziyun dared to argue back. Her superiors immediately fired her, receiving news that artist Kang couldn't sit still. I don't know when his mind only had images of Ziyun. Artist Kang skipping what he was doing, run all the way to high-tech to find Ziyun. The teacher is being insulted by his colleagues. The general appeared to protect Ziyun in front of everyone, then took her hand and led her into the superior's room. Artist Kang uses the contract to keep Zun in the company, but she will not have to obey anyone, but become his personal manager. Having finished speaking, Artist Kang led Zun away, making the crowd of people who were looking for a salary inundated. Outside, Zun shyly went first. Artist King chased after him, but unfortunately stepped on the spot Suk Trang had just cleaned, slipped, and fell. The fall made him remember everything that had happened. Suk Trang was also fired because of Artist Kang's fatal fall, leaving the captain with another mouth to feed. At this time, Deputy Director Meng came to meet the female CEO. The two people were no longer strangers to each other. Having cooperated in many illegal activities, Deputy Director Meng wants to borrow the CEO's resources, overthrow the position that Director Jun is sitting in, and then the two will together take over the high-tech corporation. The female CEO will be the new owner of the corporation. Even with bad luck, she decided to agree to the proposal. In the evening, a group of super agents followed Deputy Director Meng to a restaurant. The old man had an appointment with the guy wearing glasses. Accidentally, Xian discovered that even Director Jun was here. He and his confidants booked a murder room with the deputy director to eavesdrop on the old man's conversation with the guy wearing glasses. Seeing that a secret confidant is a secret, Director Jun wondered why he didn't install a camcorder to secretly film to avoid complications, because the time was too tight for a confidant to prepare in time. In the room next to the deputy director Meng discussed with the guy wearing glasses, the old man wanted to solve the problem. Everyone who knew the secret of the Black Book, the chief of operations and the director of the department, had been dealt with. Now only Michael and the group of super agents remained. Deputy Director Meng is extremely cunning, wanting to let the agents fight Michael one-on-one. The old man will stand outside as a successful fisherman, and the final winner must remove all obstacles blocking his feet. Hearing these words, the guy with glasses worried about his fate. Once he runs out of useful value, he will probably be immediately eliminated. But Deputy Director Meng reassured the guy wearing glasses. After everything is over, I will let him enjoy a portion of the profits. Suddenly, Deputy Director Meng heard the door open in the next room and immediately called the restaurant owner into question. Apparently, the old man said to keep the room next door. But now there are people. The restaurant owner said that it was a VIP guest. Deputy Director Meng realized something was unusual. The old man opened the door to check. Didn't see anyone here again. Director Jun and his confidants escaped first. Unknowingly, a trusted friend dropped the shoe so that Deputy Director Meng could find it. The old man chased him outside. Director Jun and his confidants quickly escaped to the refrigerated cart. In the cold car, the two directors began to feel cold. Their confidant knocked on the door to call the driver, but this guy was still listening to music. The confidant took out the phone to call for help, but there was no signal. After waiting for a while, the signal was detected. Director Jun was so happy that he wanted to grab the phone, but accidentally dropped it in the water, so the two of them had to continue waiting in the trunk of the car. On this side, the group of super agents discovered that the deputy director and the guy wearing glasses left the restaurant. The guy wearing glasses also held a mysterious box in his hand. Team leader Dong decided to follow him, but Chan Amai couldn't see Director Jun. She was worried that something was wrong with him. She didn't answer the phone right away, so she ran into the restaurant to try to find it, only to see her confidant's shoe fall off. Chan Amai called someone to locate him and Director Jun, and when she got the information, she immediately drove to find him. At a gas stop, Chan Amai discovered a refrigerated cart, similar to the one parked at the restaurant just now. Chan Amai opened it to take a look, and saw the two directors embracing each other, so she had to drive them both back. Seeing that the task of monitoring Deputy Director Meng was too unstable, he suggested to Director Jun that he should ask the intelligence department for help. Director Jun bloodily accepted. On the other side, a group of super agents were following the guy wearing glasses, but as if he had noticed, the guy wearing glasses stopped suddenly, causing the base car to go too far. Jun also discovered that the guy wearing glasses had been luring them around, so Captain Dong decided not to chase him anymore. Director Jun wants to find the person who murdered his father, and the super agent group wants to arrest Michael. After talking, Captain Dong led Chan Amai out. He did not trust Director Jun's trust. There is information that he used to be a Russian Special Forces soldier and also had a record of murder. But Chan Amai believes in her trusted friend. The president of High Tech Group has to be extremely selective. Just leaving him next to his son, Captain Dong had to accept to let him go. Then he returned to find the director. What is the secret that Deputy Director Meng is hiding? Why do you attack people in the same boat because of that secret? The director told Captain Dong that even if he said it, he could not use it to arrest Deputy Director Meng. That old man holds an extremely terrifying power. Captain Dong volunteered to bear all the blame. Just need the director to tell the secret. However, he still needed time to think. On the other side, the agent brought information that the director was still alive and reported it to Deputy Director Meng. He wanted the old man to let him sit on the director's chair. This was extremely simple for Deputy Director Meng. It would be exchanged for the position where the director was hiding. At midnight, a group of black-shirted inspectors appeared, still holding weapons, and they carefully walked to the house where the director was staying. However, he had prepared in advance. Waiting for the examiners to enter, the director took out the recording of the conversation between Deputy Director Meng and Michael, which he picked up 3 years ago. As long as the director dies, the tape will reach the intelligence department. Knowing that Deputy Director Meng was angry, he told the inspectors to bring the director back to him. They took him away without encountering any resistance. There is no such thing as an easy thing in the world. This was originally the plan of the super agent group. They drove the base vehicle to follow the examiners. A big battle was about to break out. Fong's group of super agents was discovered by lightning. They went in another direction to cut off. The group of super agents was blocked by a truck. They lost sight of the director. Now the director was brought to Deputy Director Meng. The old man took a red-hot iron and brought it in front of the director, forcing him to hand over the recording tape. The director wanted to know his outcome. After handing the tape to the deputy director, the old man told the lightning master to help him understand what the festival was. If you dictate the conditions to the deputy director, you can only eat a red-hot iron ball into your body. The director took the recording and handed it to the deputy director to try immediately, in which Michael clearly mentioned the old man's name. Deputy Director Meng angrily stole the recording, then spanked the director a few more times. Suddenly, a woman in black appeared. The director knew he was about to be saved. Deputy Director Meng was extremely confused, sent a few guards to fight, but the woman did not waste any effort, easily took down each of them one by one. He hid in the corner and tried to pull out a gun to shoot secretly, but she locked him and couldn't squeeze the grass. Then, giving a fatal blow, the woman took the gun and sent the assassin back to Diem Vuong. Deputy Director Meng, on the other hand, did not dare to breathe loudly. At this moment, Chan Mi followed the director's trail to the house. Hearing the gunshots, she quickly ran inside, only to see the guards lying around. The director and the woman both disappeared. The only person still alive here is Deputy Director Meng. The old man was about to run away when he was interrupted by Chan Mi. Deputy Director Meng recognized her as Director Jun's secretary. Only now did the old man know that Chan Mi was an agent. Deputy Director Meng wanted to destroy the recording, but Chan Mi immediately stopped him and bent his hand. However, the memory card is still protruding, so recovery is still good. Then the group of super agents also arrived at the scene and heard the news that the director had disappeared. They found out that they were trapped by his girlfriend. Everyone turned around and took Deputy Director Meng to the intelligence department. Chan Mi accidentally discovered that the examiners had blurred words on the bodies. This group of people did not expect to be in the same organization as Michael, but they all recited it all. Unable to investigate any further, Zol wondered where the director had been taken. It turned out that the woman who saved him from Deputy Director Meng was the female examiner. The director also had to spend a fair amount of money to hire her, but the female examiner saved him not only because of the money, but also because someone asked for her help. That person wanted to ask the director, what is the big secret that Deputy Director Meng is hiding? The director's answer shocked the female examiner. A nuclear bomb could destroy the entire country of Korea. Having finished speaking, the director also said goodbye to the female examiner here. On this side, the group of super agents had to study again. Speculating on who took the director away, one must know that that person single-handedly weighed down all the guards, and was definitely not an ordinary person. Captain Dong thought that Deputy Director Meng knew something, but this old man and the famous ghost would set conditions to discuss with the intelligence department. To prevent this kind of thing from happening, Captain Dong wants to restore the recording, ordered arrest from superiors and then took statements, ordering the deputy director to take a preemptive strike. Suddenly Xian received a call from artist Kang. He had something important and wanted her to come to his house and explain it clearly. But now Xian is very busy. She was about to refuse. Artist King told Xian that he had regained his memory, so she decided to come and see if he remembered any of the clues. But she didn't expect Artist Kang to remember everything. He directly asked about Zun's identity. She was wandering around the 3 countries, losing her way, when Artist Kang robbed her bag, and then found her Intelligence Bureau employee card. Zoon had to admit that he was a member of the intelligence department. However, Artist Kang did not believe it. A weak and clumsy person like Zoon, how can you be an agent? At this moment, Captain Dong called. Artist Kang asked Zoon to let him listen to the conversation. Captain Dong's voice was a bit familiar, reminding him of the artist Dong Casso who once examined his paintings. Hearing the position that Captain Dong conveyed, Artist King believed that Ziyun was an agent. She also did not want to argue. Because of revealing her identity as an agent, Ziyun had to end her mission of tracking Artist Kang. He knew Ziyun would never return, so he used her identity as a threat. Ziyun had to agree to stay and listen to his conditions, not expecting what Artist Kang said. It's like he's controlling his lover, making it extremely difficult to understand but still having to agree. Artist Kang laughed with great joy, at which point the agents began to interrogate Deputy Director Meng. However, the old man was very stubborn because he knew that if after 48 hours the intelligence department did not have convincing evidence, Deputy Director Meng will be released. Suk Trang decides to play a psychological trick on the old man, said that the director had told all the secrets. The old man was a bit confused at first, but he quickly regained his composure. Even so, it must be obtained so that the intelligence department can force Deputy Director Meng to confess. The old man still didn't know what fear was. In the morning, when Suk Tran went to school, her daughter was pinched by a classmate. The school let the parents solve the problem among themselves, but the attitude of the girls' mothers was hostile. They don't know what it means to repent, so they won't force their children to admit their mistakes in front of the daughter of a poor insurance saleswoman. Even if you're still like that, how can you tell me? Suk full warm wishes to leave. Outside, Jia sat helplessly crying. An intelligence agent protects the entire nation, but Suk Tran could not marry his daughter. She will handle this in her own way. Suk Tran called to ask about the price of security services. Chan Amai and Ziyun appeared. Just tell her to hire them. Everyone considers each other as sisters. There are things at home that need to be resolved together. Chan Amai also had itchy feet and hands, wanted to scoop up the blanket and lead them away, find the group of girls who were harassing her daughter immediately, and then teach them a lesson. A group of mischievous female students were stealing money from a theater. As soon as they went outside, they encountered 3 aunts aggressively approaching. Chan Amai used her words to tell them that stealing is bad. The girls didn't care. As they were about to leave, they were stopped by Chan Amai. They were not afraid and called a group of male students over. It turned out that these guys were also organized in their work. The leader of the group of boys intended to attack Chan Amai, but was instead punished by her. Chan Amai didn't have much time to mess around with the famous kids, so she told them to go all at once. The whole group rushed in and was beaten to death by her. Zoon came with a broom to assist, spraying a male student who lay still. Every time I touch it, I feel sorry for the children. They messed with the real police. After a while of beating the students happily like a bunch of puppies, Chan Amai taught them another lesson about living etiquette and how to be human from now on, not to abuse the weak. The group of students immediately followed. Chan Amai pressed her shoulders with the female leader. She wanted to monitor their changes. After finishing their work, the 3 female agents left with a bag of coins, not knowing what to do with the money the female student stole. The 3 decided to bring it back to the theater, where they sang and danced to relieve the pressure of work during the pastime. While playing a few happy songs, Suk Tran immediately made a sad song about death. Chan Amai accidentally recognized a familiar melody, similar to the song she heard in the tape, recording the scene of the lightning attack on the manager. Chan Minute immediately ran home, flipped through the pile of investigative documents to search, and after a while realized what the explosion was. Chan Amai drove all the way to High Tech Corporation, broke into the office, and the guy wearing glasses confirmed that she found an album neatly placed on the table. When she opened it up and listened, it was indeed that melody. Finally found the truth. The guy wearing glasses is Michael. Another party can easily bring information to investigate. Regarding the guy wearing glasses who came to Captain Dong, she discovered that he had secretly done business with Dimep. Before the warehouse bomb incident, it was suspected that these 2 people had an open relationship. Suddenly, Captain Dong received a call from Suk Chan. She brought the recording of Michael and Deputy Director Meng's conversation to restore. However, Michael's voice in there was fake. Suk Chan continued to ask the technology department staff to retrieve the original voice. Then she sent the recording back to team leader Dong. As soon as he heard it, he immediately realized that Michael's voice was very similar to the guy wearing glasses. Maybe these 2 people were the same person. Captain Dong quickly ordered to quickly find the guy wearing glasses and bring him to the intelligence department. At this time, the director went to the airport, preparing to flee abroad. The director easily bypassed the airport staff, But when he went to the bathroom to wash his face, the electric light suddenly went out, and a man in black appeared. He was Michael, who came here to deal with the director. It turns out that 3 years ago, the director found Michael's phone and knew all his secrets and illegal transactions. When GMS called to ask for Michael's phone, the director quickly made a deal with them. The two sides quickly reached an agreement because both of their goals were money. Back to reality, Michael wanted to get his phone back, but the director didn't agree. He let him repay the affair on the spot. After Michael sang his familiar melody again, suddenly he received a call. On the other side was a Russian man. The family ordered Michael to complete the plan within 3 days and quickly withdraw from Korea before being discovered by agents of the intelligence department. After hearing that, Michael's face changed color for 3 days with him saying it was too urgent, because in addition to Michael's plan, he also wanted to avenge Chan Mi. At this time, Captain Dong was on his way to the airport to assassinate the director. He informed Chan Mi that the director had been murdered, and they both guessed that the person who did the killing was Michael. The group of super agents gathered again at the base. Through the recording taken at the airport, everyone recognized it. Before he died, the director left a disclaimer. The guy used sound amplification and noise reduction techniques, helps people hear the 2 words Hong Kong. However, this clue is too vague. Chan Mi has to rack her brain to think. Finally she remembered, there was a Hong Kong palm tree in the director's office, and 3 female agents invited each other to find it. But it's gone. I remembered it was taken away by a colleague. Luckily, the colleague still had the Hong Kong palm tree. Chan Mi dug out from under a tree. Michael's phone was hidden by the director 3 years ago. In Chan Mi's phone, she found a recording of the conversation between Michael and Deputy Director Meng. This time, the old man stopped denying his guilt, and Deputy Director Meng happily left the intelligence department. Because the detention time was over, as soon as she reached the door, she was greeted by cattle, so she took the recording stage and forced the old man to return to the cell himself. The deputy director could only hold his anger and follow suit. The night television reported on the technology incident of High Tech Group. All responsibility fell on Director Jun. He was even dismissed by the board of directors because Director Jun was the head of the project. But it turns out that on the night Chan Mi was arrested in Deputy Director Meng's office, the old man asked Director Jun to transfer the project to him. In exchange for Chan Mi's freedom, his confidant felt extremely upset about this matter, so he asked the director what his next plan was. However, Director Jun decided to sit still and wait for the intelligence department to arrest the criminal technology trafficker Michael and bring the real Uncle Miu to light. The confidant left in anger and went outside to tell Chan Mi everything. She felt extremely sorry for the director because he did everything to protect her. Chan Mi was determined to catch Michael soon. In order for Director Jun to get to Min On as soon as possible, High-Tech's board of directors held an important meeting. The female CEO took advantage of the turbid waters and incited everyone to vote to dismiss Director Jun. Although many people internally support the director, the number of votes is still low on the CEO's side. At that time, she was appointed as the new director of High-Tech Corporation. Director Jun was taken back to the garden by a trusted friend. He went to the intelligence department to meet Deputy Director Meng and ask the old man why he was trading High-Tech's technology. It turns out that initially, Deputy Director Meng was also a person who believed that technology would change humanity. But one day, the old man's products were stolen and sold. Deputy Director Meng realized, money is the thing that can change humanity. From then on, the old man ran after money, using money for everything. The Black Book was born, and after hearing this, Director Jun also knew why his father had to die. However, Deputy Director Meng said that he was not the one who attacked the chairman. Initially, when Director Jun's father knew about the Black Book, the old man had intended to silently deal with him, but another force did it. This force has also been targeting President High-Tech for a long time. Director Jun wondered what the problem was with that force. However, Deputy Director Meng did not know. Then Director Jun went out and told everything to his confidants. Now my confidant also told the director his secret. Are you a Special Forces soldier? When I was in Russia, I was lucky enough to receive a favor from President High-Tech, so I went to protect him to repay the favor. There was a time when the chairman was attacked by a strange force called White Collar. They were not one person but an elite organization of trained assassins. Confidants and comrades kept those people at bay so the chairman could escape. And he was unfortunate enough to be caught and imprisoned for murder. After being returned to Korea, his confidant was rescued by the chairman. Director Jun wondered why the White Collar Gang targeted his father. Because he doesn't give them what they want. Once targeted by the White Collar Gang, there will be no escape. My confidant was afraid that the same thing would happen to Director Jun, so I only let him know this far. The director led him away. His close friends had to go around the corner to follow the security guard. In the evening, Zun received a phone call from artist Kang. He forced her to come to his house immediately, thinking it was something important. Unexpectedly, artist Kang prepared a romantic courtship for Zun. Zun was moved to tears. Who says single mothers can't love virgins? However, when artist King stood in front of him and confessed all the words in his heart, Ziyun did not agree. She had low self-esteem because she had a child. Not wanting to affect artist Kang's reputation, Ziyun turned and left. Artist King followed her out. He doesn't care that Ziyun is a single mother. He just wants her to be by his side forever. Artist King directly forced a kiss on Ziyun. In the end, Ziyun had to admit that he also had special feelings for the young man. At this time, the super agent group received new intelligence. Michael ordered a plane to Jeju Island, using the channel of his dead subordinate. At the same time, there was information that Wang Kai would also arrive from China to Jeju Island tomorrow. Perhaps these two people continue to be here because of the epidemic. The team leader ordered everyone to go to Jeju Island to ambush, so that they can capture both of these guys before going to Chiang Mai to say goodbye to Director Jun. Knowing that he was about to go to the prosecutor's office to explain, the two held hands and promised to meet when everything was okay. Then began a serious love relationship. The next day, Director Jun went to the prosecutor's office. His confidants saw him in. Very soon the two will meet again. At that time, the director promised to buy Then Tin a new suit. The two happily said goodbye. Suddenly, the confidant received a call and the person he asked to investigate had the results. The white-collar gang is targeting the latest technology of the high-tech group. The other person advised his trusted friend not to get involved. Please leave Director Jun quickly to stay safe, but make your own decisions. I will protect Director Jun to the end. Trustedly asked an old friend in Special Forces team for help. Investigate the location where Wang Kai and Michael will trade. Later, the confidant received a text message. You get the information you need. Immediately leaving for Jeju Island, another group of super agents prepared a battle plan. If this mission fails, Korea will suffer no small loss. The most advanced technology will fall into Chinese hands. The government loses all the capital poured into the project, and the super agent group will also be subject to strict discipline, so they must succeed. This is also the last chance to catch that bastard Michael. Now the East Captain let everyone know that Vuong Kai has arrived on Jeju Island, and Michael will arrive in about 2 days. According to intelligence, Vuong Kai is a gambler. Perhaps he came first to participate in the black and red game at Jeju's largest casino. So the group of super agents will similarly seduce this guy, with Chan and Jay Yuen pretending to be the mother and daughter of a Japanese rich woman innocent. Brought a large amount of money to approach Vuong Kai, then lured him into playing cards, in order to keep Chan Mi pretending to be a receptionist, breaking into Vuong Kai's hotel room, searching for his computer and installing shouting software. On the other side, the captain infiltrated the hotel system, monitoring and directing everyone's actions. By the way, he helped Suk Chan cheat and earn some pocket money. As a result, Suk Chan Au won a few big games. On this side, Chan Mi found the iron in Vuong Kai's room. She used sharp powder on the lock, found the numbers that Vuong Kai had entered, and then used her brain to put them together. Finally remembered that the main Chinese number is 6, and successfully unlocked the iron lock, but there was no Wang Kai's computer inside. Chan Mi had to continue looking elsewhere. Later, she discovered a suitcase under the table. Just now it was 6, now it will be 7. Unexpectedly, she succeeded in breaking the lock on the first try. Chan Mi took Vuong Kai's computer and started installing the software he had prepared in advance. Unfortunately, Chan Mi was discovered by Faux Hybrid Orange. The juniors saw someone breaking in and immediately reported it to Vuong Kai, who sent someone to the room to check. Vuong Kai also realized that the Japanese mother and daughter playing cards with him had a problem. But why did they win all the time? Now Suk Chan and Zol saw that Vuong Kai's attitude had changed, and quickly wanted to say goodbye and escape first, but he stopped them with his juniors. Vuong Kai got Suk Chan's earphone. He asked who the two people were. The Dong team leader saw a change and immediately reported it to Chan Mi, just as someone opened the door and walked into her. However, when this guy returned to report to Vuong Kai, he said there was no one in the room. Vuong Kai thought there were only 2 agents sent, so he took Suk Chan and Chan Mi back to the room to finish processing. In Vuong Kai's room, he directly took out a gun and pointed it at the two of them, but Suk Chan laughed loudly and blamed him. There were other agents surrounding the hotel. Vuong Kai angrily forced Suk Chan to take the phone to call her teammates. Chan Mi was not worried when she received the phone call. Ms. Yuang Deng returned to Vuong Kai's room because Chan Mi had prepared in advance. The nail was indeed a time bomb on the junior's body. It turned out that this guy entered the room to arrest Chan Mi. He was ambushed and defeated by her, then attached a bomb to himself. Now in Chan Mi's hand is the detonator. With just one click, everyone here was at gunpoint. The 3 female agents were not afraid, but Vuong Kai and his juniors were all cautious. Chan Mi wants to give them conditions, let them go and pretend nothing happened, or kill them. Vuong Kai had no choice but to do as requested. As soon as the 3 female agents were released, the captain immediately led his troops in, capturing Wang Kai's group alive. The mission was successful without any casualties. On the other side, Director Jun had just left the prosecutor's office and received a confidential message to Jeju Island. He remembered his confidant's words that he would protect the director until his last breath. Director Jun guessed something was about to happen, so he immediately told the driver to take him to the airport. At this time, Michael had just landed on Jeju Island and was immediately followed by Director Jun's confidants. But he quickly discovered that Michael suddenly received a call from Vuong Kai, informing him of the location of tonight's appointment. Hearing that the meeting point was room 774, Michael immediately realized something was unusual. Because Chinese people are very afraid of the number 4, if it appears it is a warning of death, Chan Mi also knows that. She quickly hung up Vuong Kai's phone, then angrily pressed him to ask for Michael's location. But Vuong Kai told the agents that the reason Michael was never arrested was because Michael did not take the initiative. Then no one can meet him. The angry captain gave Vuong Kai a painful punch. At this moment, Chan Mi received a call from Director Jun, informing him that a confidant was following Michael. He wanted to ask what the agents were doing on Jeju Island, but because he didn't want the director to be in danger, Chan Mi decided to hang up. Then she asked someone to locate her confidant. Now he is the key for the agents to find Michael. On the other side, Michael was complaining because there was someone following him, and the stupid Vuong Kai was arrested. He drove quietly like a crazy person, but could not take away Director Jun's trust. He followed Michael to an abandoned school, took his eyes out of the car, and carefully went inside to check. Suddenly Michael appeared from behind, pointed a gun at his confidant's head, but he used a technique to throw the gun away. The 2 people began to divide high and low. One was a Russian Special Forces soldier, the other was a well-trained detective. Not willing to give up on either side, Michael tried to reset his gun and was hit on the head with a chair by his confidant. Then he kicked the gun away. He angrily pulled out the fence and secured his trust so that he could steal the fence. Mistakenly hitting a potted plant, Michael threw dirt on his confidant's face, intending to take the opportunity to attack him, but he punched him in the face. With another kick to the roof of the pond, the confidant sat on top of Michael, punched him in the face, then took off the watch, taking back high-tech stolen technology while he was caught off guard. Suddenly, Michael's trusted friend was stabbed with a fatal blow. He could not struggle and fell directly to the ground. Michael stole the watch, then leisurely picked up the gun. His confidant used the last bit of strength to rush out and push him down. At that moment, Chan Mi came to the school, only to hear a gunshot. She panicked and ran inside to check. Director Jun's trusted teacher was lying on the ground. Chan Mi quickly ran to inside, calmly suppressing the pain and speaking to Chan Mi. Quickly chase after Michael, but remember your teammate who passed away 3 years ago. Chan Mi is determined not to let that happen again. However, with the urging and determined attitude of her confidants, Ms. Dan continued to chase Michael. Because this opportunity is gone, they will no longer have any chance to catch him. Outside, Michael climbed into the car. He painfully helped chase away the knife stuck by his confidant, then turned around and left. In front of him was Chan Mi, who was extremely angry, both hands holding the gun tightly. If you moved, she would shoot you, but Michael still smiled triumphantly. He pulled out and accelerated to full speed, quickly wiping towards Chan Mi. She also immediately opened fire straight at Michael. The next shot immediately arrived. The confidant is facing death, but still proudly tells Director Jun that he has successfully completed his mission. The director emotionally reminded Then Tin, his duty now is to live. Then Tin cannot bear it any longer. He apologized to the director and closed his eyes. Everyone who witnessed it was extremely sad. In the operating room, forensics found a technology chip, which Then Tin wrapped in foil and then swallowed. Perhaps he knew he would have to face death, but still did this last thing for Director Jun. Chan Bai told the director about this. He wanted to cooperate with the group of super agents, hold the person behind responsible for his father's qualities and confidence. Director Jun wants the agents to reveal the information they know, in exchange for what their confidants have told him. The group of super agents needed time to think, Director Jun had to leave first. The case wanted to sell technology chips of High-Tech Group. Also reaching the final result, Director Jun is completely innocent. On the contrary, Deputy Director Meng must bear all responsibility according to the law. The female CEO also automatically left the director's chair, returning the company to its true owner. At this time, according to information obtained from Director Jun, the Super Special Agent Group began investigating the white-collar state. Captain Dong discovers a clue about the woman who contacted Michael during his time in Korea. As soon as she looked at Chan Mi, she immediately recognized that this person was Madame Wu, who had been in prison with her. She is the accountant for a notorious sweetener dealer. Captain Dong left this matter to Chan Mi to solve. Michael has been arrested. It's time for the Super Agent Group to disband. Everyone can't bear it, but they still have to accept this. The three female agents left High-Tech, Zol, and Suk Chan were still attached to the company, so they were left behind by Chan Mi and the captain. After that, Zol started dating artist Kang. She was so happy because she was about to have a new father, and Suk Chan also returned to being a good mother and wife. Chan Mi received a confession from Director Jun, describing the two officially entering a serious relationship. After the next month, Chan Mi went back to prison and continued to work in 3 prison camps, teaching the unruly prisoners a lesson. However, her main purpose is to find a person, a female examiner, to work under the chief of operations. Chan Mi mentioned the white-collar state to her. The female examiner left without saying anything. Chan Mi told her that the director she saved had died, and the white-collar gang dealt with him. Next will be the female examiner. After hearing that, she was extremely worried. Suddenly, the prisoner who had just been beaten by Chan Mi summoned troops to join her, even saying that he could invite experts. Who would have thought that it was the fat woman who had been bullied by Chan Mi? As soon as she saw her, she immediately reacted and didn't dare to say anything like that again. Chan Mi taught the group a lesson, then forced them out into the yard to repent. Now Chan Mi asked the female lightning player, "What does the blurred writing on the hand of the guy sent to haunt the lightning director mean?" The female lightning hunter told Chan Mi, "That's the abbreviation for Maxim, a lightning organization in Russia." She also gave Chan Mi a way to contact them. After finishing her work, Chan Mi turned around and left. She brought the news she had just received to the East Captain. Now he also comes before the director. He was very satisfied with Chan Mi's working style, so he appointed her as the new captain of the Super Agent Group. On the other hand, Michael was in the prison of the intelligence department. While the warden was not paying attention, he tied his own hand. After that, Michael was taken to the hospital. Even though he was carefully handcuffed by the warden, he still easily opened the lock. Michael pretended to be a doctor and escaped. Suddenly a doctor appeared, found Michael a dose of medicine, causing him to slowly fall down. Unexpectedly, the chief of the department who fell into the sea was still alive. He came to find Michael to calculate all the new enemies and old debts. Upon receiving the news that Michael had died, the group of super agents had the opportunity to gather again. The target this time is the white-collar state. The movie also ends here. Don't know if there will ever be a part 2. Thank you for your interest in following. See you again in the next clips.